Welcome to Superhuman Customs, everybody. I'm Stephen Human, and today we have another original character from one of my books. So, you guys will notice that this is Flash Gordon. Now, I got this guy for the alternate head when I did that version of Max, when I made him his Christmas present. That was Max's head. So I had this guy just kind of left over with nothing to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn him into a character from my novel Paper Heroes, whose name is Airborne. And he has these pads on his feet that help him to hover above the ground. This is the perfect toy for this character. And I'm going to do some cool stuff. So what we're going to do first is we're going to grind down these little, I don't know, these little jewels that he's got right here. We're going to sand those off. Then we're going to spray paint him all black because he's all black. He's just like Sentinel. You guys remember Sentinel? He's going to have the same sort of yellow designs on him, but he comes with a visor. So we're going to cut out of just some yellow plastic that I've got from some other accessory, and we're going to put his visor on over his face. This guy's going to look so cool. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do some of the things, so this is going to be a really fun little experiment. So let's jump right in. We're ready to paint the head here. You can see I found these great Doctor Strange hands that'll make it look like he's trying to keep his balance. That's what I'm after. What we're going to do is I'm just using the magnifying glass here, and we are going to go through and just start blackening in this blue. That's all there is to it. And with something this small, remember, you want to lead with the paint, not with the brush. And very quickly we will have him covered. One trick when getting some of these edges, I'm right-handed, and so it's easier for me to come from the right. And so hold them upside down. And you can get some of these areas here that are just going to be a little bit easier than if I was trying to do it the other way. Because it's easier for me on my right hand to go down to get these details. Now in the book, Airborne has these electronic pads on his feet that help him to hover. And so what we're going to do is we're going to spray paint these black, and then I'm going to add some silver highlights over the top so that they will look the way we want. And then I'll put an orange at the bottom because that's how it's described in the book. That has an orange glow, and then we will glue them to his feet. Just that simple. And for his visor, I'm going to take this blast effect from an Overwatch figure, and we're going to cut it to the dimensions of his face.
I want it to be as even as possible, because this is a little bit just strangely shaped. So I'm going to cut just down like this. Nice and simple. And over here, I'm going to try and make it a little bit bigger than I think it should be, so it'll actually stretch across his face. Because I think this is the most important thing of this figure, in my opinion, is this. Now I'm going to cut it in half so that it's thinner. Just going to go like this and cut down, being very careful not to cut myself. So I'm paying close attention to how it's going down. Moment of truth. I've put glue on the edges here, and we are going to glue the faceplate to Airborne here. I've put a little notch in the nose so that I know exactly where it needs to go. And then I'm just going to hold it over. Let the glue set. Make sure I don't get any of my fingers. And he's got his visor on him. We'll have to obviously paint a little bit more black around there just to fix some of those smudges and where the glue is, but he's got a transparent visor. I'm liking it. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to take these leftovers. Remember from when we did steel, we had glued them along the legs here on steel. We're going to do the same thing with Airborne because I want to have, like, this is the control belt and these are running down here. So we're just going to glue these in place nice and simply all the way down so that they link to the base here. So I got one long one, I got two short ones. And yeah, let's just go ahead and start gluing. It looks like my daughters have used up most of the fabric paint, which I was not anticipating. So I'm hoping that there is enough to add the stripes here. So I'm going to go through nice and quick, get the first layer on in all the places, and then pray that there's enough for a second coat. We're going to find out together. I think this guy's just about done. All we need is
the pads on these are described in the book as being orange. They glow orange. So I'm going to do just some standard Vallejo orange here on the bottom pad. And I'm going to do it a little bit lighter so that it's not a full orange, but that it gives the idea of a glow. And then I think this guy's going to be done. A lot of the detail work was pretty simple. Here we go. This is Airborne on his flight stand that I'm going to have him on since he floats. I think he turned out pretty cool. He's going to match Sentinel just beautifully. And I like how the visor turned out. How you can still see through. It's not perfect because I think some of the glue got in there and so it's a little bit fuzzy. But all in all, when I take this guy to conventions, he's going to look awesome. And plus, the little hands from the Doctor Strange figure that were just extras, it really makes him look like he's trying to balance himself, which is part of the character as he's on these things. It's not necessarily easy to do. It's quite dangerous. And so he's always having to kind of balance himself. So this is Airborne. If you want to learn more about him as a character, check out my novel Paper Heroes at stephenhuman.com. It's my debut novel. It's really quite awesome, especially if you like superheroes, if you like very realistic, very thrilling stories. That's one you guys are gonna dig. So, Airborne is finished. I'm very excited. I'm Stephen Human with Superhuman Customs, and I'll see you next week.